We've put in a lot of new talent at the top. I really believe in the top leadership in this organization, and I think we've got the people to do it, to carry this out. I think that's what's different.
Week 8's got the Detroit Lions squaring off against the Miami Dolphins, and based on the Vegas over and under, we're looking at a 50-point game, so let's really light it up. There's going to be no defense in this game. Let's get into it right now. Welcome to Detroit! Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. As you know, I'm Hat and Beard. Before we get too far down the line, why don't you go ahead and click like on the video and hit subscribe so that you never miss out on any future content. We're going to talk about a little news before we get into the Week 8 matchup against the Miami Dolphins. First and foremost, everybody, as Lions fans, we need to be aware that Shiela Hamp came out, but she actually met with the media and did a lengthy interview.
I said initially that I would be open and honest and available for you guys.
She used the comment of, this is more than a rebuild, this is tearing everything completely down and building anew.
This, I would say, was like a tear down and then a rebuild. I mean, we really had to take it down to the ground level. And it's been not only on the football side, but across the organization.
And we know that Dan Campbell is her guy.
I really believe in what we've got and what we're going to be. It just takes time.
What we can take out of this statement is two things. One, Dan Campbell's 100% her guy. He ain't going anywhere, not for a while, because him and Marty Morningwig have the same record through 22 games. And I'm not saying Dan Campbell needs to be fired. I've said it numerous times on this channel. I really like Dan Campbell. I think he's a really upstanding guy. And you know, last game we've seen the evolution of Dan Campbell, right? Like between the New England game and the Cowboys game, in that bye week, he figured out how to be less aggressive of a coach and be a little bit more conservative in his play calling. So that's a benefit. But with her saying that, you know, we need to be patient, this is going to be a long thing. This is going to be a long, drawn out. This might be one of the longest. Well, technically, I guess you could say the Lions, since we're perpetually rebuilding, has been the longest rebuild in franchise or in any franchise's history. But this is going to be longer than what we deem normal, right? And this is coming at the worst possible time because, look, guys, my dad used to say that the NFL means not for long. And normally you see coaches get, you know, like a 3-year leash to start turning the program around. I'm willing to bet that Brian Daboll, who's having such a successful season his first year in New York with such a dumpster fire of an organization that New York had going in it. They're just like Detroit. They had bad money situation. They had bad player contracts. They had busted up old players that didn't need to be on the team no more. They were in a bad situation. Let's be honest, you guys, Daniel Jones, we all thought was a joke, and somehow Brian Daboll is winning with Daniel Jones. I don't understand it. So I feel like Brian Daboll is essentially single-handedly responsible. Well, not saying Brian Daboll and Robert Saleh are the two people responsible for the increase in temperature on Dan Campbell's seat, because those of us here in Detroit, we see what's happening with other organizations, and let's be honest, we get jealous, we get salty, and justifiably so. The reason that I say the temperature is going up is normally coaches have 2 or 3 years. Robert Saleh is showing huge strides, huge steps in being a successful organization in his second year, right? And Brian Daboll is doing ridiculous things in his first year. These are things that don't normally happen. The NFL, not for long, has now, in my opinion, has shortened up the leash from 3 years to, hell, look at what's his name, Matt Rule there in Carolina. He got what? Him and Dan Campbell were the same coaching class hires, and they already fired him, and he, I think, had a better record than Dan Campbell. So that says a lot. Look, I know. Long story short, Sheila Ford recognized what's going on. At least she talked to the media. We as fans need to continue to be patient, which is not anything we want to hear, because we've all been patient our whole lives for this thing to turn around. And it's exhausting every year, emotionally tying yourself to this team and convincing yourself like an idiot that it's going to be and you just look, we just have to get used to wearing, a big red nose and big floppy shoes for the next couple of years, because we're going to be clowns, dude. And I think it's safe to say we're going to tank. We're going to tank. We're going to tank the rest of the year. We got 2 first-round picks coming this year, just like last year. I think this has been the plan the whole time. Obviously, they're never going to say it, You can't say it. But I'm pretty sure that Shiela Hamp and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are all on the same page of what's going on. They're not openly admitting that we're tanking, but we're not actively trying to win a bunch of games and go to the postseason and compete for division titles because we have bad contracts that we're still trying to pay off. We had bad money deals. We had bad players in bad positions. We can't go out and get big name players, man. That's why instead of getting a Miles Jack at $8 million a year, even though he's on the twilight of his career, he's still a good player. He went to Pittsburgh to play instead of coming to Detroit because we couldn't afford him. We couldn't afford $8 million, so we had to pay $2 million to Alex Anzalone to come back. I know Alex Anzalone isn't going to start on any other team, and he's a special teams player on 31 other teams in the NFL. But it's what we had to do. There was no other option. Our hands were tied, man. It was either that or Derek Barnes. That's what I thought.
Here goes. Hello, my nighttime brother. Fuck me. Fucking thing just bit me.
I just think the plan is 4 or 5 years, right? The plan is, because we don't open up a lot of salary cap money until next year, you know? I mean, we had a hell of a wheel and deal to get the picks that we got. Clearly, Brad Holmes likes draft capital, and I can't argue with his draft picks so far. They've been wildly successful by all of the typical Detroit metrics, right? Not all of them, but enough to say that Brad Holmes knows what he's doing. We'll also briefly touch on the news coming out about Jameson Williams. He's at least a month out. Look, guys, if we're truly in tanking mode, and if we are kind of just chalking the season up as a wash just to keep furthering the train down the road to get to the next offseason don't rush J-Mo back, man. Look, as much as I'd love to see him play, that'd be awesome. I'm really high on Jameson Williams. I think he was the best wide receiver in the draft. All in all, I think that Jameson Williams had the most diverse and well-rounded, well-polished final product skill set designed for the NFL. If he had not tore up his knee in the national title game, I don't think he would have been there at 12 for us to go after and get. We probably would have been looking at, you know, mid-teens maneuvering, maybe trying to target like a Jahan Dotson, or shit, we probably would have just taken like a Tutu Atwell in the second or third round. Who knows? That's neither here nor there. We got J-Mo back. There's no reason to rush him back from the ACL injury. Look, man, I know you'd like to get him up to speed. You'd like to see your product on the field a little bit. He's at least a month out from his ACL surgery. He's at least a month out until he can come back and play. Don't rush it. You know, if we see J-Mo, if we even see him touch the field this year, maybe the last 2, 3, 4 games, right? I don't need to see Jameson Williams out on the field risking more injury to that knee or really souring his mood on the franchise. You know, let him observe, let him get coached up really well, let him see how things progress, let him become real accommodated with next year's roster, you know what I'm saying? Because DJ Shark isn't going to be around, he's trash. DJ Shark is trash. I am so disappointed in DJ Shark, but let Reynolds keep running routes, catching balls, you know, let Kennedy get some reps, man. Keep pounding the ball to St. Brown. We don't need J-Mo. This season's lost, we don't need J-Mo, don't rush him back. But the news is he's at least a month out. So that's about all there really is on that. And in the injury front, hopefully we get Swifty and St. Brown back for the Miami.
Please don't wear that hat.
Too stylish?
No, it's a big bloody stupid hat with a big bloody stupid curse on it. And every time you wear it, something bloody stupid terrible happens.
Now that that's all out of the way, let's talk about the Week 8 matchup, which you guys all came here for, right? Sorry about the long spiel. Lions and the Fish squaring off Sunday. This is going to be a pretty cut and dry. We're going to get a little repetitive. Fellas, okay, let's be honest. It's going to get real repetitive. We're going to talk about Lions need to be fundamentally strong, right? We need to come out. We need to not have turnovers. Jared Goff, okay? We need to run the ball substantially well to open up the play action because Jared Goff is a play action quarterback, okay? We need to block well on offense, right? We need to block well. We need to make sure that Jared Goff doesn't get hit. And we need our healthy players to make plays. And if they're out of the game, we need our reserves, like Josh Reynolds, like Brock Wright, who I'm not going to lie, guys. As much as I wanted Hawk to be a thing, I would love it if Brock Wright became our starting tight end. I'm all in on Brock Wright, dude. I'm all in on Brock Wright. His name's Brock Wright, and he's from Notre Dame. Dude, his brother's name is Chuck Steak. And then on defense, we need to cover wide receivers. We need to tackle players. We need to not have penalties, and we need to create turnover. There. It's been a good day. All right, guys. I've been Hat Beard. You've been...
Time to 23 skidoo. Or should I say 69 skidoo?
No, but seriously, look. On offense, I don't know what the hell happened in Dallas. We could chalk that up to Dallas has a top flight. Their defense is undoubtedly top G. Put points on the board. More than just field goals. But hey, Dan took the points. All right, Dan taking the points. But we need touchdowns. Field goals don't win. So hopefully Big PP Ben Johnson can figure it out and crack the... I mean, they're not a great defense down in Miami. They don't get a lot of adjusted sack rates. They don't create a ton of turnovers. They can... I mean, they're better than our defense. I mean, but who isn't, right? We can take advantage of them, man. They can be beaten through the air relatively easily. I know that we like to view ourselves as a run-first team. But, look, the stats don't lie, man. When we had a top 5 offense, we were throwing the ball a lot. Granted, those stats were skewed because DeAndre Swift had lit it up the first week and was averaging 8 yards a carry, and we were able to split the backfield with 2 dynamic running backs instead of 1 and a... Let's be honest, Craig Reynolds is like Jamal Williams light. Right? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like both those guys. Jay Willie's my dude, man. Craig Reynolds is the champion of Detroit. But their defense, the Miami defense can be beaten. And Ben Johnson can figure it out. I still have a lot of confidence in Ben Johnson. I'm not going to sour on him like I did AG. And AG, I mean, I was very impressed with last week. I have been very hard on Aaron Glenn because I've been told he's this wonderful, amazing coach, right? Now, last week showed that he clearly knows how to scheme a defense. What the Miami Dolphins do offensively really well does not correspond with what our defense does very badly. In fact, for us, it's a very negative correlation. For Miami, it's going to be excellent. Miami throws the ball a lot. They've got 2 Ferraris out on the edges. I mean, Jalen Waddle is sensational. And if I'm being honest, I almost feel like it's insulting to call Tyreek Hill a Ferrari. I mean, what is above, like, Ferrari and shit? Like, who's above supercars, man? You know what?
I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic man out of you.
Tyreek Hill's a Saturn V rocket. How's that? You can't say he's a car because he's too electrifying. He's a Saturn V rocket, okay? He blasts off into space and he comes back down, and he blasts off into space and he comes back down. And they throw the ball a lot. You know, Tua's that dude, man. I'm very impressed with this season's Tua Tagovailoa. I didn't think he had it in him. I really didn't. And then after the concussion issues, I thought that maybe they weren't... I kind of thought they were going to shelve him for a while. Right? Everybody made such a big deal about the Tua injury, the Tua concussion, that I thought they were going to put him on the shelf for quite a while. I thought we were going to be having to deal with Teddy Bridgewater. I really did. I did. Because, you know, the way the media portrayed it, you thought that Tua Tagovailoa died. He just bumped his head. They throw the ball well. We have 1 decent cover corner. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's still working his way back. Amani Aruarie's washed, okay? So expect to see Amani getting torched. Even last year when he had 6-7 INTs, Amani's never had the speed to cover a Tyreek Hill or a Jalen Waddle. Jeff Okudah has higher end speed, but he's, again, not that fast, especially with the injuries he's sustained in his career. He's lost speed. He's lost a little maneuverability. I do like what I see out of Jeff Okudah. He had 12 tackles last week, man. 12 tackles. That's at the line of scrimmage. Big-time tackles. At the line of scrimmage, man. I think Okudah can hang with Waddle. I think Okudah, if we utilize zone and our safeties can come over top and give a little bit of support, they can hang with Tyreek. But I just don't think we can stop both. And even if we do manage to stop both, that opens up Mike Gesicki, who, look, Miami doesn't utilize the tight end a whole lot. It's just their scheme. Tua's not really a tight end's quarterback. Mike Gesicki's a very good tight end, though. Malcolm Rodriguez is a good linebacker. Nobody else in our linebacking room can cover. So if we manage to stop Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, then you're going to have a great day out of Mike Gesicki, but a bad day for our defense. I just don't see how we're going to be able to stop them regularly enough. We're going to need to if our defense can get 4 stops, if we can get 1 stop a quarter, theoretically we can outscore the Miami Dolphins, because that's what the season's turned into. It's not about stopping the other team. It's about, can we outscore? It's a track meet, man. It's a track meet, and can we put more points up? I know that's what every game is can you outscore your opponent, but we can't rely on our defense. Dallas was one thing. That was kind of a phenomenal... Again, that could be AG coaching over. That could be Dak having easing back in. They still beat us, so I don't know why I'm hanging my hat on the Dallas game. We still lost that game. Miami does not run the ball worth a tinker's damn, though, which bodes well because we can't stop the run, but hopefully we can slow it down enough that it disincentivizes them from running the ball, and we can start to scheme out to just eliminate their superstar wide receivers. I liked how Hutch was keeping his hand out of the dirt in Dallas, and clearly he got sacks. Kaminsky was a big boon for that, and I'm really looking forward to watching Josh Paschal continue to develop. I was over the moon about Paschal last week. The Josh Paschal play, Week 7 against Dallas, just solidified that Brad Holmes knows what he's doing. Okay, that kid came out and played his friggin' balls off, man. That was some of the best mid-season first game against a fucking big-name opponent on the road. My man is out there making plays. Yeah, he was gassed in the end. You've seen the same thing out of Hutch the first 5 weeks. So come the fourth quarter, he was gassed, which is why having more players come back, giving us more rotational depth, your Julian Okworas, your John Kaminsky's, your Austin Bryants, those guys were making impacts because not only are they phenomenal athletes who, when schemed properly, can take advantage of situations, gets Hutch off the field. He was running like an 87, 88% on the field rate for our defense, which outpaced every other defensive end in the NFL. I like the fact that he gets sanity, he gets a little bit of a blow, keep him fresh, we start to rotate guys around. The other thing is Miami is very susceptible to sacks. They are one of the worst teams in adjusted sack rate. Their offensive line does not hold up really well under pressure. Tua is a little bit smaller than your prototypical quarterback. He's not as mobile as your Jalen Hurts. So theoretically, our defensive line, our front seven, can get enough pressure to collapse the pocket in on Tua Tagovailoa. He'll either make bad decisions and throw not well-advised passes. He admitted he can't really see over the line. He has to move around the line to see around and over players because he's only like 6 foot tall. That's not, Jared Goff's like 6'4". So if we can collapse the pocket, disrupt Tua's reads, his progressions, just screw up the timing a little bit on their offense. I do like Mike McDaniels as a head coach. That guy is awesome. So now the real question is, have I been able to convince myself that we're going to somehow beat the Miami Dolphins with all the nonsense that I've just been spewing for the past 10-15 minutes? Yeah, I think we can. I think we can win every game, though. Do we win this game? Doesn't matter what I think. The reality of the situation, with a 50-point over-under, do the Detroit Lions beat the Miami Dolphins?
I really believe in what we've got and what we're going to be. It just takes time.
I wish that I could tag it with caveats. If St. Brown plays, if Swift plays, I don't want to be tagging it with caveats. So you know what? I'm just going to put my fucking balls on the table. Lions win again, 34-21. Man, if my microphone could stop falling, that'd be awesome. But it's the end of the video, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep talking, and you guys just get to deal with the sound effects of me slapping a microphone around. Here, let's just do this. There, I'm just going to hold it like my name's 16 Leo, and I'm just going to talk to you guys while I'm holding it. So anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I've been Hat and Beard. You guys have been an attentive audience. Go Lions. Let's hope we get this W. And if you're in the state of Michigan, go State.
Time to 23 Skidoo. Or should I say 69 Skidoo.